Dinner today is going to be a small roast pork loin. I cut this off of a big loin that was like, I think it was $10.81. And between these small loins and bags of pork chops, I think I got about 10 or 11 meals out of that one big loin. I'm very excited about that. I do that all the time. This is an old crock pot. The lid has had it, but it works better than any other crock pot I have. It cooks super fast. My daddy gave it to me about 15 years ago, before he died, and I don't want to part with it. And I tried to buy a new lid, but you can't buy just the lid. So yes, it looks a bit gnarly, but it works great. This is just to help give some extra moisture in there and to lift the meat up so that it's not essentially boiling in its own juice. Some people like that, some don't. Peel it. I'm just going to make like 3 thick slices lined on the bottom of the pan. And my loin's just going to sit right on top of that. Keeping this one simple today. I was going to do barbecue, but I've decided to do a just a rosemary herb. There's a couple of theories of thought as to whether the fat side should go up or down. Essentially, some say if you put the fat side up, then it drips down into the meat, keeps it moist. Some people don't like that, so they put the fat down. Just put it however you want to. The way I see it, it's just going to cook regardless. I've got a fresh sprig of rosemary that we grew ourselves. I'm going to wash it off, even though it's... Anyway, just going to wash that off. That is essentially just going to lay on top because the sprigs can be a little bit pokey sometimes. If they don't cook enough, they're not tender and they just kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to lay that real pretty on top. Keeping it simple today, we're going to use this. Got this at TJ Maxx a long time ago. This thing's lasted a while and it's almost gone, and that's going to be so sad, but it's called barbecue beef. It's just a seasoning with salt, rosemary, sage, juniper, basil, laurel, parsley, thyme, and fennel. And it is pretty salty, so because of that, I'm not going to add any extra salt in here besides this, because I am a bit salt sensitive, so I'm just going to keep it. And essentially that will just be on the top part anyway. And we're going to add some balsamic vinegar to this. I always have cat hairs flying off of me everywhere, so try to be mindful, but you know, it happens. All right, and that's really all I'm going to do with that. I'm going to let that sit there for about 3 hours. I've got it on high right now. I'll end up having to turn it down a little bit. So it's only been 2 hours. I just took the lid off, and I do believe this little thing, see how it's shriveled up to almost nothing. But that's fine, because when you shred it, it makes a lot more meat than it looks. But it's probably done. You see it's only 2:36, and I put this thing in at 12:40. So in 2 hours, I got this little sucker done. I'm going to poke it just a little bit and see. Actually, it's a bit squishy. It might not be fully done, but it's hard to tell. No, I think it's done. But I'm not really ready to finish it and eat yet. I just wanted to show you after 2 hours what it looked like. So I'm going to keep the lid on it, probably give it another hour, and we'll be back. Go ahead and get our meat out. What I'm going to do is shred it up and put it back in the liquid, because sometimes it can be a little bit dry, and this way it can soften up in the juice while the potatoes cook. So I'm going to get rid of some of this rosemary here that's on top, because like I said earlier, it can be a little bit chewy or get stuck in your teeth sometimes. Alright, the best way to shred this up, first of all, we're going to look for the fat, any fat left on it. Which it don't, usually it cooks out and there's not much left. Sometimes you can just kind of take a fork and scrape like that, especially with the corned beef, which we'll be doing very soon for St. Patty's Day. And the fat will come right off, but I don't think there's any fat left on this sucker. 2 forks is the best way to shred it, especially if you want to make barbecue, which we're not today. We're just making shredded pork, but look how it just pulls together, pulls apart. Get you a little bit closer. See, just, that's hot, so we'll hold it with 1 fork and just pull with the other like that. It just shreds right up. I don't think we even need this to get more tender in the juice, but if you were making barbecue, you're just gonna add barbecue sauce to that. Sometimes I put it in a frying pan with the barbecue sauce because I like the sauce to get a little bit, I call it congealed, but almost kind of thick-ish, you know. My husband really don't like fat, so I try to be mindful and find it all out of there. I mean, I love the fat, but you know, he don't like it, so like that right there. Well, I like crispy fat. I don't like flubby fat. All right, and all this looks pretty good. There's some flubby fat right there. Get that out of there. See, it's not a whole lot of meat, but it's a decent amount. If it was a lot, I would save the rest. The leftovers, you can make a pasta, which is really good. Sometimes we make pasta with pulled pork. I've even put it in a chili before. I eat less beef than we used to, but all right. So that all looks pretty good, and one for the cook. I had a little bit of fat on it, that's why I went ahead and made that piece. All right, so that's good. Get rid of that fat. It's a little too flubby for me. I like that. All right, so I'm going to put the rest of this back into our pot and let it stay warm and juicy while our potatoes cook. Okay, the meat is done, so we're gonna make mashed potatoes. I've picked 5 potatoes here for my family of 3. We like potatoes. I might even end up making more than that, I don't know. But since the meat is small, there's not much of it, we need a decent hearty side or 2. So we're gonna peel up our taters. And I'll probably fast forward this in a minute. Yes, I'm making homemade mashed potatoes. You can buy the box or the instant, but you know, this is all about making things from scratch, right? Doesn't really matter how you cut them because they're just going to be mashed up. However, the smaller they are, the faster they'll cook. That's just common sense. I usually just make strips like I would if I was making French fries. And squares. They don't have to be uniform. In fact, my husband likes his mashed potatoes. We pretty much have smashed potatoes, not mashed potatoes. I don't use a mixer to mix mine up. I just kind of smash them by hand with salt, pepper, milk, and butter. And that's it. I'm just gonna fill it up. Cover the potatoes with water. You can dump the first water off if you want less starch. It's less chance of boiling over, but just fill it up. Some people use salted water. Turn it on high, and they'll take about not too long, but I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So I'll be back. Our potatoes are starting to boil. You can see the starch foaming up. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit because it will boil over. I always boil over rice, grits, and potatoes every time. So I'm gonna stand here today and watch. A couple things you can do. One, you can skim that foam off and it will help. Or you can turn it down a bit. Or when it starts to boil over like it's about to do, just simply lift it off the heat on one side and it will tone down. But this essentially is all your starch. And if you can scoop that out, it'll help. So over here I've decided I'm just gonna do, I didn't have any fresh carrots today. I normally would put carrots in my roast. Didn't have any carrots today, so we're doing a can of peas and carrots. I'm gonna mix them together. All right, and since both of these cans are not seasoned, I will rinse them off to get rid of the preservatives in them because I am a little bit salt sensitive with high blood pressure, so I tend to rinse off any of the extra preservatives when I can. The only thing I don't rinse is something that is already pre-seasoned if I don't want to lose the seasoning. Or like tomatoes, you can't really rinse tomatoes off in the can. So I will drain and rinse these in my colander. And then I'm just gonna mix the two together. Pat of butter. I always use unsalted so that I can monitor how much salt goes in them. Use whatever you want, don't really matter. You can use coconut oil if you don't like butter. Use margarine, doesn't really matter. Don't have to use anything. We're huge butter people around here. Just gonna take a bit here. I have this, I really like this salt-free garlic and herb seasoning. So I'll put some of that in there. And I'll still add a pinch of salt, but this way I can monitor exactly how much salt goes in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on because my meat is done. So I'll put a little salt in that. I'm gonna need it for my potatoes anyway. That's just veggies, they don't need a lot. And I'm gonna rinse these off. Because these have about, I don't know, a couple more minutes. Since they're hot, what I'll do is take my knife, stab one of the larger ones. They're almost done, but not quite. Had a little bit of resistance there, so we'll give that a minute. This is just a quick, simple meal. I did not have to work today, so I didn't mind sitting here with the crock pot and doing this, but even if I did work today, it would have been very simple. Put that crock pot on low and then just make this when I got home. No problem. Alright, I will pause. Alright, so this has melted now. I kind of like the seasoning to brown a little bit. And then I'm going to toss these in. Alright, and these I think are ready to drain. I can tell by looking at them they're ready. They have that, it's very soft. Alright, so those are ready. Turn that off. I'm going to take them over to the sink and drain them. I like to stick my butter in the bottom even though it's not necessary. And I'm going to start for this amount of potatoes, almost a half a stick, but not quite. About 3 tablespoons, I believe that was. I don't want to lose all of my thick starchiness, so I'm going to go ahead and dump them back in on top. Grab the milk. I don't know how runny you like your potatoes, so So I'm gonna say, for me, I will probably be adding, well, let's see. I'm gonna start with what I would consider about a 1/4 cup. We can always add more. All right, butter's in, milk's in, salt. Don't know how much that is, I don't measure. But that's what it is. So I have this little doohickey I like to use. Kind of mashes them up a bit. Kind of stir and mash a little bit at the same time. Simple. My husband likes them chunky, like I said, so the longer you cook them, the less stirring you need. If you like them super smooth, all you got to do is get your mixer out or a immersion blender, you know, thingy. So that is what I call done. It's a good consistency. Taste them. That's good. No more salt needed. Potatoes are done. Veggies are, well, they're in a can, so they're pretty much done. I like to kind of char them up a little bit, but set that over there so I don't knock it off. Toss these around a bit. Start plating up the first plate. Bring the meat over so you can see it, everything together. Here's our completed meat. I left the onion in there because we like to eat the onion. But I'm going to make this first plate for my daughter. She can take or leave the onion. She don't really care one way or the other. And I meant to tell you too, the balsamic vinegar in this is what really makes meat nice and tender. I don't know if these are going to brown. They're staying a bit mushy. I'm just going to kind of, we're ready to eat, so I'm not going to worry about charring that up. Peas and carrots. I debated on rice today, but I was in the mood for the mashed potatoes, so that's what I went with. Slop it up. There you go. There is our meal. Oops. I can't get the camera right. There we go. There you go. So here are 3 decent-sized plates. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. Really didn't make any leftovers, which I didn't expect it to because the meat was so small, but that's okay. Tuna fish for lunch tomorrow. All right, my daughter's gonna give us a taste test, AKA Baby Bear.
It's cold.
Oh, okay, it's cold.
It's good though.
Okay. How about the potatoes? They're not too hot.
I'm chewing the meat at the moment.
Oh, okay.
The potatoes do look hot, yeah.
They are.
I'm sure they'll be good though, they always are.
If you have a bite of potato with a bite of meat, then you won't have to worry about the meat being cold.
That's right. Or maybe I won't have to worry about the potatoes being hot.
You've already swallowed the meat, though. All right. Thumbs up from Baby Bear. Thank you very much. Daddy, eat.
On my way.